Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome back to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to be with you on today as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural and normal and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you express it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout, good morning, good morning, good morning, because morning is a good thing. And I'm so glad that y'all are with us on today as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 199. This message is right on time. We're going to talk about I'm a mistake maker. I'm a mistake maker. Out of all of the things that you want to claim and admit that you are, how many of y'all are willing to admit that I'm a mistake maker? We want to always accentuate the positives and we want to promote the great things that we are. But how many of you can say, yo, I'm a mistake maker? What is this lesson all about? Let us dive in and see. Boy, am I imperfect. I make so many mistakes. Pause right there. Y'all, it's all about truth and transparency. It's all about just being your authentic self and just really just admitting that sometimes I make mistakes, right? It's all about being real with yourself, admitting you're imperfect, your imperfections, and sometimes we make mistakes. That's the reality of the situation, right? But I'm glad I make mistakes because it means I'm trying, right? I'm glad I make mistakes. That means I'm trying. That means I'm shooting my shot. That means I'm trying. That means I'm in the game. That means I'm making an effort. That means I'm trying to figure it out. All of that good stuff. I'd rather be in the game and make a mistake than sitting on the sideline and never even want to try, never even want to put the thing in play, never want to put the thing in practice. So knowing when you try, you gon' make mistakes. When you try, you gon' fail. When you try, you trying to figure this thing out, right? So yes, I'm a mistake maker. I'm imperfect, but I'm glad I make mistakes because it means I'm trying. If I didn't put myself out there, I wouldn't have the chance to make mistakes. I'd be playing it safe, but I would also be dying while I was alive. Y'all, one thing as you navigate through this grief journey, guess what? You're going to make some mistakes, right? There's more material out now than it was before, but awareness about grief and how you handle this and how you deal with this and how you navigate through this whole process. Yeah, you might make some mistakes as you navigate through it. How you feel, how you process your feelings, right? How you don't process your feelings, the things you do, the things you don't do, the things you feel, experience, all of that type stuff. Yo, when you navigating through this thing, you're going to make some mistakes, right? And that's okay. Number one, you imperfect, right? But number two, it means that you trying, right? Give yourself some grace. I always tell you this, give yourself some grace. As you navigate through this space, give yourself some grace. As you navigate through the space of healing, you navigate through the space of grief and mourning, as you navigate through this space, give yourself some grace. I'm glad I make mistakes because it means I'm trying. If I didn't put myself out there, I wouldn't have the chance to make mistakes. I'd be playing it safe, but would also be dying while I was alive. Here it is. So here's to the mistake makers and the chance takers. We're truly living this life. Hey, we're mistake makers and we're chance takers. And that's okay because we're really, truly trying to attempt to live this life. This is what you got to know. This is what you got to understand. And it's okay. It's okay to be a mistake maker. It's okay to be a chance taker. As you navigate through this thing and you try to figure it out, hey, you've never lost a loved one of this magnitude before. You never lost a mother before. You never lost a father before. You never lost a sister before or a brother before. You never lost a daughter. You never lost a son. You never lost a husband. You never lost a wife. You never lost a grandchild before. Here's to the mistake makers and the chance takers. as you navigate through this thing called life, as you attempt to pick up the pieces, as you try to put it back together, as you try to move forward, as you try to navigate through your grief, as you try to go through mourning, as you try to dive in and deal with all the complications and things surrounded by grief. Here's to the mistake makers. Here's to the chance takers. You're imperfect, right? And you're trying to figure this thing out, and that's okay. Here's the final thought, y'all. There are no real mistakes, just teachable moments. There are no real mistakes, just teachable moments. Because if you learn, you never lose, right? If you can extract meaning, then was it really a mistake, right? There are no real mistakes, just teachable moments. Let this grief journey be filled with teachable moments. As a matter of fact, y'all need to be writing a journal. Y'all could write a book. Y'all could write something. Check this out. I had a friend, Dr. Ray. She came and she preached last Sunday, and she did a Instagram last yesterday. She went Instagram live, and she was in the airport and she was crying. And she said, "Excuse me." She was mourning the loss of her mother, and she said something. She said it's because of her absence that I'm able to be present for you all in this moment. The work that she's doing as it relates to grief. She says it's because of her absence that I'm able to be present. Right. I said, "Oh, that's so good." It was a teachable moment of what she's dealing with and what she's going through. She's extracting this nugget of truth from what she's dealing with. But I love the fact that here it is. She was, I think I said she was grieving out loud, right? She was grieving out loud. She said she could have called a friend. She could have called her sister. She wanted to go live and just have this transparent moment. So she's grieving out loud. Y'all, sometimes you got to grieve out loud, right? Sometimes you got to grieve out loud. What are the lessons you're learning? What are the mistakes you made, right? What are the lessons you learned? What are these teachable moments that you have? And if you can record them, if you can journal them, if you can make a post about them, if you can go live, for those of you who are willing, grieve out loud, right? Because there's other people in this space, there's other people in this place that need to hear your story, your testimony, what you're dealing with, what you're going through. Grieve out loud, right? We grieve out loud. And so there are no mistakes, there are only teachable moments. Today is day 199. This message was right out on time. I'm a mistake maker. All my mistake makers make some noise. I love it. Come on, if you got any questions, holler at your boy one time for the one time. Anything you want to say, any questions you got, anything as we navigate through this process, y'all. We are navigating through this process. Hey, Tamika Brown, Pastor, we lost Mama yesterday, and there was so much I never got to say. I feel like I've never have a chance to ask so much confusion and pain. How do we get through that? Yeah, so y'all pray for Tamika Brown. She lost her mother on yesterday. Her mother transitioned. And so it has been, um, man, it has been 24 hours of just awakening and going through this process, right? And so I want to tell you, it's all a process. You're going to feel so many different emotions because you navigate through this right here. And so many questions, so many thoughts going to run through your mind, right? So many things you never got to say, never have had a chance to say, just so much. You're going to process so many different feelings. You're going to go through so many different things. And it's hard, even in the midst of this moment, right, to just to process it all and navigate through it all. You just got to give yourself permission to feel, as we always say. Give yourself permission to feel. Reveal what you feel, and that's how you heal. So even you posting this right here is beautiful. You posting this right here is not just you feeling, but it's you healing, and it's you grieving out loud, right? And that's how we navigate through the process. Some of these things we got to wrestle with, right? So much you never got to say, right? And you still can have a chance to say it. You can still express that. Um, whether it's audibly when you get a chance, or one on one, to make peace within yourself. You'll have a chance to express that. You'll have a chance to, whether it's journal it or express it. Um, by her side or whatever the case may be, you'll get an opportunity to get out of you what you had on the inside of you. And even though she may not be here um, in the flesh, right, to hear it, you still need to say it, right? Because that release brings about relief. That release brings about relief. After I preached my father's funeral and we were leaving the church and everything had wrapped up, I called his cell phone. I called his voicemail and I said, "Hey, pops, I'm just calling you. You know, the funeral's over. I just, did everything, and I hope you're proud. I hope you did good." And there was so much I wanted to say that I expressed in that moment. Now, of course, he's gone. I called his voicemail. I had his cell phone, so it's ringing in the car. But I wanted to hear his voice. I wanted to leave a message, and I did. And even though he didn't hear it, I still needed to say it. I want you to understand that. Even though he did not hear it, I still needed to say it. Why? Because release brings about relief. Release brings about relief. And so, no, he couldn't hear it. I still needed to say it. And that release for me, it brought about a relief. And so, keep that in mind. The other thing is, we can't do anything about the time we've lost. What are we going to do with the time we have left? So, with that in mind, you take that mindset of so much I never got to say. So with the relationships that you have now that are intentional around you, right? You build this core belief of, oh, I'm gonna say it, right? I'm gonna say what I need to say. I'm gonna express my love. I'm gonna express, all. I'm not gonna waste any time because I don't want to feel next what I feel now, right? And so it's a learning process. I learn, I grow, right? I grapple and I grow. I grapple with the fact that I never got to say this to my mom, but I grow from it as well, so that I'll never repeat this again. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Thank you, Rhonda, for your condolences for Tamika. Yep. Thank you, Sister Laura. Y'all keep her in your prayers. Hey, Mama Tahir. Yeah, release brings relief, period. We understand that in so many different contexts, especially as it relates to grief. And if you're not releasing, right, then there's a good chance you don't have no relief, that you are feeling some type of way. And most of our illnesses and challenges and issues and problems that we have, um, it comes from the fact that we don't release. We do not release. We got to start having release parties to where we just release the grief. Ooh, I like that. Release the grief. Ooh, somebody write that down. Release the grief. We're going to have a release party. We're going to have a release party where we release the grief. I love it. 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 Yep. Y'all continue to pray for her, lift her up. Yep. 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 Any other questions? Any other questions? Release the grief. Release party. Yeah, thank you. It does make sense. I'm feeling like writing her a letter. Thank you, everyone, for your prayers. Yeah, write the letter. Absolutely. Write the letter. Release the grief. I'm telling you, we're going to have a grief party. And we're going to release the grief. Release the grief. Release the grief. Release the grief. Shout, shout, let it all out. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Hope and pray y'all have a wonderful Wednesday. Lauren, you can always go back and catch it. She said, oh, you can always go back and catch it. Yeah, catch the replay. Catch the replay. It'll be a. I don't know why that tickled me so bad, but that's hilarious. Release the grief. Yeah, that is hilarious. Oh man. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? Great questions. Oh, oh, and right to put. Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I'm gonna write it. It's in the queue. 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 No Barbie. It's in the queue. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. Y'all ain't got nothing else, man. Y'all have a wonderful Wednesday in Jesus' name. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Tomorrow, I'll see y'all same time, same place. Let's go.